Hello, 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 and welcome to Let Me Bore You to Sleep. My name is Jason Newland. Please only listen when you can safely close your eyes. What are you doing under there? My name's Jason Newland. I've already said that, haven't I? My website is jasonnewland.com. I also have my store, which is jasonnewland.store, where all of my recordings are collected for you to download. I have a Facebook group called Jason Newland's Boring Group. I've also got, a YouTube channel, which you can search for me for. It's Let Me Bore You to Sleep, or Jason Newland, or people find it there. I'm also on, I do 6 versions of each podcast. I'm back to doing that again, and they're on all the major podcast hosts. What else? I'm boring myself, just trying to remember all the different things. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm also on TikTok as well. Instagram and X. Although I need to remember to upload to those two because I forget. But I upload all my latest videos to TikTok, or at least 59 minutes worth. So this recording will not be, I'm not doing a video, I'm just doing it's a recording, I'm not doing a video, so it's just, an audio. And today is Thursday the 12th of March 2026. Now, I haven't made a new recording for, I think Friday was the last time, so it is 6 days ago. Yeah, 6th of March. And the one before that was 2nd of March, and the one before that was the 1st of March, and the one before that was also the 1st of March, and the one before that was the 27th of February, and the one before that was the 26th of February, and then 25th February, 23rd, 21st, 19th, 17th. So, I have the odd little break, but not a long time. It's not like a huge amount of time, really. I suppose you get used to me doing daily recordings. It's noticeable when I'm not. Last month sometimes I was doing 2 recordings a day. Blimey, that's a lot. I need to sort some of this stuff out as well. It's 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. I just seem to have done a lot of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Basically, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's okay. It should be all up to date now. I had some problems with the podcast. Hello, Vinny. Hello, mate. I'm going to get on my lap now that you weren't interested in being with me a minute ago. Now it's like, let me lick your face, let me get on the table. Hey? I had a neighbour up here just chatting. She was sitting on the chair, and Vinny picked up a packet of biscuits, half-eaten biscuits. Well, they weren't half-eaten, they were, I don't eat half of a biscuit and put it back in the packet. What I mean is there was probably a third of the uneaten biscuits left in the packet. so it wasn't half. And he walked onto the sofa, he picked them up very quietly and just jumped off the sofa in front of us and proceeded to rip the packet open. And I was just looking at him thinking, how blatant is that? Because that is not something that he would do if he was here on his own with me. He would never do that. But because he knew I was distracted, or at least he thought I was distracted, he did. And I just found it funny, so I just left it. He didn't eat the biscuits, he just ripped the packet open and the biscuits are just on the floor. So I'm going to have to clear them up. Aren't I, Vinny? Yes. Kisses. Kisses. Daddy kisses. Daddy kisses. So yeah, the podcasts are all back to normal again. It's funny. It's not funny. It's funny and it isn't funny. Just it's taken me a week to redo and to undo the mess of the podcasts. And I've done it now, but it's taken a lot. Not even a lot, a huge amount of effort. How did Vinny just press the computer and kicked me out of what I was doing? I can't believe you did that, Vinny. Oh dear. So what's this? 15,000 people signed petition calling for Crufts winner to lose award. This is in the news. Let's have a look. Let's see what this is about. I'm just going to keep up to date with the news. Calls are mounting for Crufts. So those that don't know what Crufts is, it's like a dog Olympics, pretty much. And oh, okay. Fair enough. I'm not going to read that. Apparently he, according to this, I won't say his name because he can't defend himself. It is something to do with past stuff. So yeah. Oh, okay. Fair enough. Look at this. Cheaper broadband to your road. £19.95 per month broadband. Up to 900 megabytes and free Wi-Fi router. Let's have a look. What does this say? Now, let me put my postcode in, and I bet you it says, because this isn't an actual company. It comes up, compare great UK broadband networks. So it's just going to go through all the different things, and I've done this before, and I won't get anything that says 900 megabytes. It not available. I'm renting for more than a year. I'm renting forever. Ever and ever and ever and ever. What's my age? What's that got to do with it? Can you believe it? There's age groups. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 boxes for ages. 18 to 24, etc. I'm in the last box. I'm basically extinct. I'm in the 55 to 64 box. And then 65 plus is the last one. Why does everyone want to keep reminding me that I'm 55? I mean, really, shouldn't it be a celebration? I've hit the century, I'm 55, I'm still around. I'm becoming more round every year, especially near Easter with all that chocolate. I'm actually the heaviest I've ever been in my life. I'm 16 stone 1 ounce, or whatever it is, 16.1 stone. Never been this heavy. The heaviest I've been is 16 stone. I know it's just one, but like, I got down to 14.5 stone last year. And I'm not doing anything different. Well, yeah, I'm not really. I've not gone back to drinking Coke. So I completely got rid of Coke. I got rid of sugar in my tea. I've not gone back to sugar in my tea. I might as well, mightn't I? What's the point in cutting out sugar in my tea if I'm going to end up being huge anyway? I have pizza every week, once a week if I can, on a Saturday, whilst watching a boxing. But that's my one little luxury. And I generally don't necessarily even have a drink with that. I just drink water with it. Although I'm thinking about this Saturday, I think I will have a Tango, but I still don't have a Coke. The only time I have a Coke now is when I meet my dad in the coffee place. Like a couple of times a year, I'll have a bottle of Coke. That is it. Literally 2 bottles of Coke a year is kind of what I'll have. Now I'm wondering if it's all those bags of sugar that I eat. Because I thought that sugar wasn't fattening if it's in cubes. If you eat sugar in cubes, because horses eat sugars, don't they? You could feed horses sugar in cubes when I was a kid, and horses are just muscle. So I just figured if I eat them in cubes, I'll be fine. I wonder how many people actually believe what I'm saying. So 18 to 24, these are the options. 18 to 24, 25 to 34, 35 to 44, 45 to 54. I like that period. The 45 to 54, in a way, because that's when I moved in here, when I was 44. And it was kind of like starting anew. It went a bit awry, to be honest. It went a bit weird pretty quickly, but it was a start of like having my own space, my own place, my own little bit of kingdom, my little bit of me. And it is messy. I've never pretended that I live in a tidy place. I could live in a tidy place. It could be spotless and immaculate if I wanted it to be, but I've never, apart from when I first moved in and the carpet was laid, when everything was like immaculate. Then I got Andre, my little ferret, and he decided to redecorate gradually over 6 years. And he did that, first of all, by ruining the carpet, ruining the paint, ruining the doors, ruining everything. He destroyed the settee, so I had to get rid of that because he completely burrowed into it. Yeah, he completely destroyed the carpet. And it was messy. He had like little nests everywhere, places where he'd sleep. He had his toys everywhere. And then when I got Vinny, he contributed as well. He just continued the whole redecorating. He thought, well, I quite like it the way it is, but I'll make it my own. So he doesn't have nests everywhere, but he has piles of stuff. His thing is he likes to have his bones all stacked up, and he moves them around. And he's been quite a what's the right word? Attachy. It's not the right word, is it? Like, so I'm sitting here. I prefer this so much more than making videos. I really do. Oh, it's so much easier just to not have to focus on what I look like. Looking at myself when I meet, oh, no. It's like, I mean, to be fair, what things would you generally want to do whilst looking in the mirror? I know it makes your mind go a little bit, well, it's not many. I don't have a mirror in front of the toilet. I don't want to watch myself on the toilet. I don't want to watch myself in the bath. I don't want to watch myself getting dressed. I don't want to watch myself eating. I don't want to watch myself sleeping. I mean, even if I did have a mirror on the ceiling and I was a bit of a gigolo, how was I going to sleep? I just imagine that mirror falling on me. That's all I'd be thinking about all the time. And as I got older, imagine waking up and seeing that. Seeing myself in the mirror. It's like, oh no. It wasn't a dream. Yeah, it'd be like a big fat man's falling on me. That'd be scary, wouldn't it? I said to someone the other day, I said, because I decided it's spring now. In my mind, it's spring. So I've stopped wearing my hat. One of the downfalls of wearing a hat is when I'm talking to someone, you know, like another dog walker, I can't hear them because I've got these ear flaps. Can't hear them so well. So now I'm going out without a hat on. Still got my gloves, but not my hat. And it was a bit chilly the other day, and I said, oh, I think I chose the wrong day to stop wearing my hat. She said, oh yeah, it's a bit cold, isn't it? I said, yeah, I can really feel it on my bald patch. And she looked at me, she said, well, why don't, instead of saying bald patch, why don't you just say your head? Rude. So rude. It's like, I do have hair, you know. She said, yeah, but you have to look really carefully to find it. I said, because I trim it. I shave it, don't I? She said, when did you last shave it? I said, 2 weeks ago. And she said, and that's what's left. That's how much grows back in 2 weeks. I said, yeah. She said, I could put my finger between some of those hairs. There's big gaps. There shouldn't be big gaps between individual hair follicles. I said, can you please stop poking my head? And it's true. I mean, I had a video, I looked at a video of me just before I shaved my head this time. And you can see my hair and like the light shining through it. It's almost like there's just individual strands, all, I don't know, they're not getting on with each other. I wish they would kind of stick together a little bit, you know, to make it look like there's more there. But no, they're all kind of almost like they've been in an argument, like as a big party, and they all realised once they all get there that they're all different religions or something. It's like, oh come on, can't we just be all humans? No. So yeah, so I used to enjoy shaving my head knowing that my hair was going to grow back. I used to proudly say, you know, I shaved my hair so that if I do ever go bald in the future, it won't bother me. I won't care, because I've spent my younger years with a shaved head. Because I started shaving my head when I was 31 or 32. And apart from a little bit of thinning at the front, a little bit tiny, I wasn't bald. I definitely wasn't balding back then. And I really had I wasn't even grey. I had a few grey hairs, but generally not grey either. And I really felt like, yeah, I'm growing as a person because I'm preparing. Of course it won't happen. But if I did go bald, of course it's not going to happen to me, is it? That's the kind of thing that happens to other people. Even though my brother's bald, so, you know, should have been a clue, shouldn't it, really? And my mum. And I was like, oh, I really didn't believe I was going to go bald because I had such thick hair. Like really thick and curly. And I still do if I let it grow. But just not all over. So if I let my hair grow, it'd be really thick and curly at the sides and at the back. This is patch on my crown, which is widening as we speak. Actually, as we speak, it's getting bigger. And then there's a bit thicker hair in the middle, but not thick, not as thick as the sides. And then it thins out again at the front. And I mean, obviously it doesn't bother me because I never mention it, do I? Apart from every single recording. But I really believe that if I did go bald, I didn't believe I was going to go bald, but I thought if I did, it wouldn't bother me because I shaved my head and I have walked around on purpose as a baldy. And I knew that I'd chosen to do that. Therefore, I was being brave. I was a brave little soldier. Of my mummy's brave little soldier, as she used to call me, when I'd eat up all my dinner. No one's called me a brave little soldier for years. I used to like that. I remember my stepmom, my first one, she used to open the door when I was in bed, and she'd like sort of wave goodbye and do a little thing with her finger to sort of say goodnight. I love that woman so much, you know. She used to sometimes, I don't know if she called me a brave little soldier or it's something that I wanted her to call me. I've never found a girlfriend to call me that. It's really hard, isn't it? You know, when you want, we have nicknames, don't we, sometimes for partners. I think it's best if it just happens organically. Because if you've got a preferred name, or maybe you want to test one out, like I did, I thought, my brave little soldier, I thought, I see if I can get one of my girlfriends to call me that. I say one of my girlfriends, you know, like the next girlfriend I get, if I do have another girlfriend. This is in the past. Or maybe, you know, when I was with someone, I thought, the thing is, I never knew what was the right time. I mean, when's the right time for the first holding of hands, the first kiss? Never mind, like, you know, telling the person that you really like them, or maybe that you love them, asking them to maybe move in with you, or get married even. Their hand in marriage. Or when's the right time for other things, like introducing a nickname, like that you'd like them to call you, or letting them know that you got herpes. I mean, you never. It's kind of, you never. There's no right time, is there? And just for example, just let you know, that has happened to me. I was with someone and they told me that. It's like, and they did not pick the right time to do it. I remember she said, look, I just got to let you know, I really like you. It's over a meal, so I guess it was, I don't know if it was romantic, kind of, it was well, the conversation wasn't romantic, but it seemed like quite a romantic night. But it was over a meal. We were just eating, and she said, "Oh, I've got something to tell you." I said, "Oh, what is this?" I was a little bit concerned. I thought, "Oh, she's not pregnant, is she?" And then I remembered that we hadn't done anything for her to be pregnant, so I thought, okay. I don't know why I'd first go there though. Oh, is she pregnant? And then anyway, she said, "Oh, I've got I thought I should let you know before we anything happens between us." And I said, "Look, first of all, I understand." This is what I said to her. I understand there's no convenient time to kind of release this information, to announce this news about your condition. I realise there's no good time. But Christmas dinner with my parents, that's a really bad time. And my dad said, "Just leave it alone, don't worry about it, it's fine. It's funny." I said, "It's not supposed to be funny, Dad." He said, "But it is. It really is. It's the best Christmas ever." But it was difficult because I didn't really understand what it was. Is he really talking about herpes? I mean, it's not really a very relaxing conversation, is it? Okay, I'll move on, sorry. Yeah, so 18 to 24, 25 to 34, 35 to 44, 45 to 54. What's my favourite age group? 18 to 24, 25 to 34, 35 to 44, 45 to 54, or my current age group, 55 to 64. So what was my favourite years of being around? I mean, I suppose it's natural to go back and say, well, my youngest years, 18 to 24, that's when I was enthusiastic about life, kind of. I moved to London to, join the comedy club experience industry, whatever you want to call it. But I also had no money for that whole time. I had a couple of jobs that paid well, but other than that, it was quite low. Ages 25 to 34. Now, when it comes to having relationships and having fun and meeting ladies and dating, whatever you want to call it, those were my years for that period. So 25 to 34, well, 25 to 31 really, kind of all ended when I left London. But I did have a few girlfriends. Yeah, I think between 34 and 37, I had 3 girlfriends. But anyway, these aren't the years. So 35 to 44, probably going to say, well, in some ways, those were some of the greatest years for me, because that's when I started making podcasts or recordings back then, helping people to fall asleep. I also did my degree in counselling. I trained in boxing as well, so that was good, and I also did taekwondo. So I did a bit of got a bit of fitness going, did some training and stuff. Also diagnosed with bipolar, which was... It was a positive thing, you know, in a sense of... that was at 19... I was 41, because it was the December 2011 that I was diagnosed with bipolar, and then again in 2013. So that period is quite important for that as well. 35 to 44, I was volunteering in the alcohol and drug different places, doing group relaxation sessions. I was living in a Buddhist community at the beginning of that period, and yeah, so that was kind of good there. My nan was still here, so I was visiting my nan regularly. Became a counsellor during that period, so I was a counsellor, professional, full-time counsellor for about a few years anyway. So that was pretty good, but well, it was hard because I wasn't earning enough money to get by. But it was also a difficult time because of, you know, mental health stuff. But then the age of 45, so that would be 2015. It was, I mean, the beginning of that year, you know, just the end of the previous year, my nan passed, so that was a difficult time at the beginning of that year, particularly. And then in April I moved here, so it was a big upheaval emotionally. A lot happened in quite a short time, and then so between 45 and 54. So 54 would have been 2024. I was 50, so I was 55 last year in August. So I've only been 55 for, was it September, October, November, December, January, February, just over 6 months. 6 months and 15, 16 days. 16 and a half months. No, not 16 and a half months. 6.5 months. But then, a lot happened in that period. A lot happened. So, yeah. It's, you know, it's a mixture of lots of different things. So, yeah. So I wouldn't put it down as as being my favourite age. I don't know, probably 35 to 44 in some ways, because that's when I started making recordings, videos, volunteering, helping people with relaxation, all that stuff, and then doing my degree and accomplishing something I never really believed I could. Yeah, so maybe that would be my favourite time. But 25 to 34, in other ways, was way better, because I actually had a social life. The only time in my life that I've had a social life was between 25 and 34. Well, it wasn't even 30. Well, yeah, actually it did extend, because when I moved from London, I was working in a call centre, and I did have a social life with the people I was working with, because I used to go out with them in evenings, at weekends and stuff. So, yeah, I did have a social life then. Now 55 to 64, I can't really say or even make a judgment on that because it hasn't happened yet, has it? I mean, six months has, but there's still, still quite a few months left, quite a few years left to get to the age of 64. So let's click on that one to see whether or not I've got anything available. Oh, this is the Compare Great UK Broadband Providers. That's what I was talking about. How did I get onto my favourite years? I don't know. According to this, best value 1995 is unlimited fibre broadband. Best value, blah, 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 blah. Virgin fastest speed. But Virgin don't even Virgin do not deliver here. Unblock your personalised broadband match. So Virgin. If I go to the Virgin, if I put in Virgin, and then I put in my area. Oh, Google's very funny. It says there are no Virgins in your area. No, Virgin broadband. No, they did actually. There was an arrow to my flat. Apparently, if you go long enough, you become a virgin again. So I'm a newborn virgin. Virgin broadband fastest. No, fault checker. You know what I found out today? If I type a text too quickly, I could get myself into a lot of trouble. So I was on the toilet. That's not really relevant for the story, but I was on the toilet and I thought I'd send a text message to my neighbour just to see how she is. So all I wrote in was, HOW, how are you? And I was about to send it, but the spell check changed it from how are you to one word, HOARE. So I nearly sent her a message saying whore. And it was a genuine mistake. Could not believe it. Lucky I stopped it in time. It's good to know for the future, though. Right, okay, let's have a look. We're so pleased to hear you like Virgin Media. Whilst we're busy expanding our network, it looks like we're currently unavailable at your address. I already knew that. I've been trying to get with Virgin for years. That sounds wrong. Because they are pretty much the fastest one. But nope. Absolutely ridiculous. So 55 to 64... Virgin, and what's the other one? Talk. Find out more. I don't want to give them my details. Just give me the information. No, because they get paid if they pass the details on, don't they? Yes, I know. So talk. Let's see what. Oh, apparently Gigabyte, who came round. I mentioned it about a month ago. A bloke came round and he said, "Oh, hello." I said, "Hello." He said, "Is that Jason?" I said, "Yeah." I thought, this isn't a phone call. He's actually standing in front of me. It's almost like he's phoned me up. "Hello, can I speak to Jason Newland, please?" It's like, "Yeah, I'm here." I mean, don't you mean see? Can you see? No, let's speak to him. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, hi. He said, "Oh, in the past, you've shown interest in our new broadband, our giga whatever, super fast broadband, 900 gigabytes a second, which is really fast. And I said, yes, please. And I said, right, do you want my details, my bank details? Because he checked on it. He had all my details, my telephone number, because I'd filled a form in online, so I knew he was legit. And he said, oh, no, I can't sign you up here. I said, well, what are you coming around for then? If you can't sign me up, you've got all my details. I just want to see if you're still interested. You could have done that by email or phone me. He said, what are you talking like that for? I said, I don't know what you mean. Why, how am I talking? I'm just talking normally. And he said, stop it. I said, okay, sorry. He said, I've had enough of your insolence. I said, sorry, Father. And he promised me that the internet will be up and running within the next 3 to 4 weeks. That's what he said. He said it will be up and running within the next 3 to 4 weeks. He told my neighbour downstairs the same thing, because I told him to go and knock on her door, because she has the same rubbish reception internet that I have. Because we're basically the same. It's the same building, isn't it, really? Well, it is the same building. But she's got a flat downstairs. I've got a flat upstairs. It's like living in a house. I'm upstairs, she's downstairs. If I could get a 900 megabyte broadband, we could just share it. We wouldn't need to both pay for it. 900 megabytes, it could serve this whole flat, this whole building, six flats. 900 megabytes a second. There's 6 flats. 1, 2, 1, at least 2 of those flats, or at least one of those flats, doesn't even have broadband at all. And another one of those flats wouldn't use it much. I'd probably use it the most. It's just because I'm uploading such large files, with the recordings and stuff. But saying that, downstairs there, she's a gamer, so he probably would use more than me, actually, thinking about it. But we could get it for one flat and share it amongst the whole building. And I'd kind of be up to doing that, although there's a part of me that wants to be greedy and say, no, I want all 900 megabytes. It's not gigabytes a second, it's megabytes a second, sorry. 900 megabytes a second. Gigabytes would be ridiculous. 900 gigabytes a second. No. I'm not even sure if a supercomputer could do that. Possibly could, but yeah. Definitely not a broadband. So she contacted them, but she told me, that's the reason I know. And she said, no, it's not happening now. And she said, what do you mean? I don't know if she said it like that, but she did say, well, what do you mean? And the thing is, there's a school near us, and they provide the internet for them. And when they knocked on our doors, they said that they were putting in the cables on our side of the road. I mean, they were literally digging up the road as so I see them do it. Well, I'm not spending all day staring at the road to see if anyone digs stuff, but you can hear it. And I take Vinny out 2 or 3 times a day. And it's like, really? Really? So you're not doing it? He said, no, we never could provide that service to flats. It'd only ever be houses anyway, not flats. And she said to them, well, what's the difference between a house and a flat? If you're providing internet to a house, it reaches upstairs, doesn't it? So what's the difference between having it as giving it to flats? There's no difference, surely. And I can't remember the end of the conversation, because I just realised that my foot was on the floor and my pink Crocs were kind of not on my foot, and I realised that one of my toe nails was a little bit sticky outy, so I quickly put my Croc back on because I didn't want anyone to see that. And then she told me, she said, my neighbour, she said, well, there's a box you can get, a router, for £100, and then for 50 quid a week, 50 quid a month, you can get with EE, and you can get up to 900 or 400 megabytes a second. So, I don't know. 400 megabytes a second. Because it just... No, I know I live in the countryside. However, I don't live like... There are people here. I live on a housing estate. It's not like I saw the other day, was it yesterday or the day before on the news, and there was someone with a big gas container, and they were oil container, I think it was oil container, and they were using that to heat their house. I'm like, really? That was like the previous century to last century, wasn't it? That people use oil to heat their houses and to heat the water. I mean, don't we have electricity? I mean, it's a genuine question. Has electricity not reached every part of the country yet? I mean, it's been going for a while. I mean, it was quite popular to start with, it wasn't very popular. People didn't like it. They were scared of it. I don't want that electricity coming in my house. No thanks. Just like indoor toilets. Like, I'm not doing that inside the house. That's an outside of the house activity. Ooh. So, I just figured that everyone had heard about electricity. But apparently some people, they don't use it. They use oil and gas, like gas containers and stuff. I know caravans use gas, maybe oil as well. But I lived in a caravan once. So cold it was. There was no way of warming it up. It would have been lovely in the summer. Winter, ugh. I mean, literally, I went there. I was at my dad's for Christmas. I think this was 2003. 2000. Maybe it would have been 2002. Christmas 2002. Really? Yeah, it would have been. I moved out of where I was living because of the noise. I moved into this caravan probably the November time. I'd paid ahead with my previous place for about 2-3 months. Didn't tell them I moved out. Luckily, because I moved back in again because I couldn't stay there at this caravan. So I moved into this caravan. I liked it. It was big, spacious, 2 words meaning the same thing. And I had all my books in there. There was a telly, not great reception, but there was a telly. I had a recliner chair in there as well, and it was nice. I liked it. It was near a railway track, but a railway track wasn't like super busy. But what there wasn't was neighbours. Okay, there's a couple of people who had caravans, but there was no like loud music being played. It was peaceful, especially after working in an office all day on calls, phone calls and stuff. It was so nice just to get away from there and chill out for the weekend. I had the supermarket just up the road from where I lived. It was, I don't know, half-hour walk, but it was still, wasn't far really. I liked it, but it wasn't suitable for living in the winter. In the summer, I think it'd be fine. I noticed there was a lot of damp. But even then, I didn't really care. I just I like it. I'm gonna work through this. I'm gonna get it done, because I don't want to go back to that other place. And so I went to my dad's for Christmas. Got a phone call, I think might be Boxing Day, from my landlord, from the caravan site, telling me that the caravan had flooded. I'd left a tap on or something. The caravan had flooded. So this is Boxing Day morning or something silly like that. My dad drove me back there. It's in the next town. He drove me back. There was no public transport available. Thinking there's some kind of emergency. And it wasn't. It was a tap outside that had frozen. Had nothing to do, because it was really cold. Like, it was super cold. And because I'd come back, it was like, I might as well stay here now. There's no point coming back and then coming back again, is there? I might as well just stay here. So my dad said goodbye. I said goodbye to him, and we walked back to his car, and he said goodbye, and I said goodbye. And in the end, I said to him, we've still got probably about 3 minutes till we get to your car, because it was parked out of the way. I said, should we stop saying goodbye? He said, well, it's nice to say goodbye. I said, I know, it's courteous, it's good manners, I know, but I don't know whether or not we need to keep doing it during this period. But he said, well, yeah, but it's Christmas. I said, I know it's Christmas, but it's a season of goodwill. I said, no, but it's not the season of keep saying goodbye, is it? He laughed at that, so I thought, wow, made my dad laugh, that's nice. And it turned out he wasn't laughing at that, he was laughing because I just trod on some dog poo. But in the end, I just walked back to his car. He said goodbye again, I said goodbye. He thought I had a last laugh because I'd walked in some poo, but I wiped it on his bumper. So the car bumper. I then, not the bumper, what's it called? The registration plate or the bumper? What's the bumper? It's the back bit, isn't it? I really ruined that bit, didn't I, saying that? Because the thing is, the registration thing, that's quite good for scraping dog poo. Not that I've done it a lot of times, but it is quite good for cleaning the bottom of your shoes. Don't do it though, because it's not nice. It's naughty. Stop being so naughty. And I went back to the thingy. I had 2 fires on the go, 2 electric fires. They might have been fan heaters or whatever, which I needed on when I was in there because it was cold. But I thought, you know what, I'll stick them on full blast, 5-10 minutes and it'll be fine. 4 hours later, it was still as cold as what it was when I first got in there. Absolutely freezing cold. I waited another 3 or 4 hours, absolutely free, honestly. So I had to go back to my other place. So I went back to an empty flat because I'd moved all my stuff out and stayed the night there. Then came back and got all my stuff and moved out of the caravan. Ridiculous. It was such a pointless waste of time. But you know what? I love the idea of living in a caravan because it was spacious. It wasn't like a tiny little caravan. It was a proper one, you know. But it didn't work. It was broken. And I was there for a few weeks, probably a couple of weeks maybe, and I had no problems with the heat because I was there. Maybe I left the heat on during the day. I probably shouldn't have done that when I was at work, but I didn't have the problems because I left it for probably 2-3 nights in a row without it being the heating being on. I just couldn't get the heat back in. It just wouldn't happen. It refused. Point blank refused. And I was sitting there and I could feel my clothes getting damp on me. It was just weird. I'd still quite like to have a caravan though. Just like the idea of being able to or living on a caravan site. Not necessarily in the summer, but, just near a beach. Somewhere where it's nice to take Vinny and have a walk on the promenade. Yeah, maybe. Vinny's now with the other side of the sofa having a bit of a sleep. Well, I'm now back to the old days where I just talk about nothing for an hour. What's happened? Surely I should have a subject. What have I actually talked about? Nothing. I haven't, have I? Morrissey. Brilliant. Morrissey, the singer. He scraps a concert so he's, after being kept awake by festival noise. So Morrissey, he was in the Smiths, cancelled his scheduled concert in Valencia, Spain, citing extreme sleep deprivation. The singer claimed he was unable to rest due to festival noise, loud techno singing and megaphone announcements in the city. His arrival coincided with Las Fallas. That sounds rude, everybody. Las Fallas, a week-long traditional festival known for its celebratory atmosphere. The cancellation adds to Morrissey's history of calling off or postponing numerous shows, with the Valencia gig reportedly being his 6th cancellation in 2026. And apparently it's supposed to be the latest tour is promoting a new album called Make Up Is a Lie. I can kind of get where he's coming from. However, if you're going to go to a festival, then I would say, I imagine he doesn't do all the nitty-gritty planning himself. So whoever's looking after him, the team looking after him, need to plan a bit better. Because if they know that he's a grumpy old man, like me, sometimes, and he needs his full sleep, and he doesn't want to be around noise, then they need to make sure that wherever he's staying, there's not going to be any noise. And I get it, you can't predict every single outcome, but I'm pretty sure you could have found him a villa to stay in a mountain, away from everything, that maybe took an hour to get to the venue, do his performance, and then go back to the hotel or wherever it was. Surely. I don't know, just like, it seems like the standard thing to do if you've got a pop star, rock star, musician, actor, whatever celebrity person you've got, and they're working, they're doing a gig, whether it's a performance on a movie set, whatever, you want to make it as nice as possible for them. It just makes sense, doesn't it? And the person really responsible for that is you could say him or her, but ultimately the person looking out for him or her should know what they require. So there's old theories, isn't there? Old stories about Mariah Carey needing 70 million roses in a dressing room, and Elton John needing lots of donuts, or I don't know, like there was something he used to like to have in his dressing room before doing performances. And I've heard that about lots of different like famous actors and stuff, or even just things like that. And if you're looking after that person behind the scenes, then you just make sure it's there, don't you? It's as simple as that. If Mariah Carey needs 100 roses in her dressing room preparing for a performance at Wembley Stadium or a TV studio, then that's what she gets. As simple as that. Just don't let anyone else be in charge of it. You be in charge of it. Or just have one person that's in charge of her needs. Even though those needs might seem ridiculous and outlandish and a little bit expensive. It's like, yeah. So if Morrissey wants to be somewhere where it's quiet, because, he's not a young man anymore. He's not young. He's, how old is he? He's probably, Morrissey. Just thinking about it, Morrissey was in the Smiths in the early 80s. When I remember listening to him when I was about 12. So I would say he's got at least 7 years on me. So he's going to be in his 60s. Morrissey. So I'd say 64. That's what I'm guessing. I have my eyes closed. I've not looked yet. Where is it? Morrissey. Here we go. I'm just going to say 64. 64. 64. 66. Okay. So he's 66 years old. And that's not to take anything away. So he's 11 years older than me. That's not to take anything away from him. Oh, he's old. No. Everyone's, if I didn't believe that everyone should be allowed to get some sleep, I wouldn't be making these recordings of me talking about nothing. for the last 20 years. You know, I know sleep is important. So, dear Mr. Morrissey, or Stephen Patrick Morrissey, as you were... Is Morrissey his actual name? So Morrissey was his surname. Stephen Patrick Morrissey. I didn't know that. I know he's always been known as Morrissey, but I didn't realise that. It's a good name though, isn't it? I mean, if I look at him, I can't think of any other name that suits him better than Morrissey. Like Gilbert, no. Sampson, no. Allen, no. Morrissey, yeah, Morrissey. Isn't it strange how people just seem to suit their names, like their faces suit their names? Patrick, no. Actually, yeah, that's his name, isn't it? It's Stephen Patrick, so Patrick's his middle name. Stephen Patrick. Did I tell you, this is weird, it's not funny, but it's weird, it's true. When Uncle Sausages was in hospital, I went to visit him one day, and I said, "You alright?" He said, "No, I'm hungry." I said, "That's alright, we can go down and get something from the what's it?" Because this is like in the first week or so that he was in there. And the nurse, I said that I want to take him downstairs and we're going to go and get, he said he didn't have any breakfast and I'm going to take him downstairs. I said, "Why didn't you get any breakfast?" He said, "I don't know. They didn't come and ask me if I wanted any breakfast." So it is. And so I just like, okay, we'll just go downstairs, get something from Costa, like a baguette or, I don't know, like just something to eat and some coffee or something. And he said, "All right then." And the nurse said, "No, he can't go downstairs." I said, "What do you mean?" And she pointed at the board, and NBM or NIL, I don't know, nil by mouth, basically. I said, "What's that about?" She said, "He's not allowed to eat." I said, "I know what it means. I'm saying, what is it? Why?" She said, "I don't know. I think he needs to have a medical intervention or something, or maybe a scan or something like that." Okay. So it goes through, nothing at lunchtime. And in the afternoon, probably 3 o'clock, the doctor come round, see how everything is, and I said, when is his scan? Do you know roughly? And he said, "No," because I was going to go with him and because he was a little bit worried because he'd had one before. And I said, they said, what scan? I said, "The scan he's got to have." They said, "He doesn't have to have a scan." I said, "Well, why is he not able to eat?" They said, "He is able to eat. But it says on a board there, nil by mouth." And the doctor said, "I don't know why it says that." And then another doctor said, "Oh, that was for the last person that was there. Because he'd only been in that bed one day. They just forgot to wipe it out off of the board." It's absolutely, honestly, I mean, luckily, even though he only had 2 hours, maybe an hour and a half. I think dinner comes around at between 4 and 5. We still went downstairs and got some food because he was really hungry. Plus, I'd been teasing him because I'd been eating in front of him. And I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the childishness in me. Because I knew he wanted to eat what I was eating, and I was eating it, I couldn't help but make really yum yum noises. Oh, sausage roll is good. I think that annoyed him a little bit. In fact, I think it annoyed everyone, to be fair. Yeah, I don't think anyone really appreciated that. The noise I was making, or the dance I was doing while I was making the noise. Like, I remember one of the nurses came around and said, "We realise you're a regular visitor and it's really nice that you're visiting him because he's got no one else, but please put your clothes back on." Okay. Wow. I paint such a good picture of myself, don't I, sometimes? What, you want to meet me and be my boyfriend? Not good boyfriend, girlfriend. Girlfriend. You want to be my girlfriend? Do you love me? Vinny. Vinny. He's such a wally. Yes, he is. What was I going to say? Yeah, see, the way I see it is, if you're looking after someone, regardless if they're like if you're going on holiday and you're with your partner, if you know your partner has certain needs, it might not be physical needs, due to disability or anything. It might just be something that they like. If they like to walk to, even when they're on holiday, they like to walk to the newsagents to buy a newspaper, then book a hotel that isn't too far away from a newsagent's and make sure there is a newsagent's nearby. Little things like that can really make a difference. And that's why I've never really given this much thought until now. I don't know why I'm thinking about it now. It seems very pointless, to be honest. I think maybe yawn. I think maybe I'm growing as a person. I'm becoming more sensitive, more nurturing, more desperate. That's probably the right word. I'm more desperate. I'm willing to just go along with it. Just please love me. I can pretend to be nice. So yeah. So leave Morrissey alone. That's basically what I was trying to say. I like Morrissey. I think he's pretty much a genius, when it comes to music, lyric writing and stuff. I still couldn't find any broadband, but apparently, what is this? What I found a bit of a... Okay, I saw something earlier. Michelle Pfeiffer and why she hasn't worked with husband in 30 years. Now, I wonder, this is MSN, everyone. MSN. It comes up as part of my search now, it just comes up, and it's just like non-stop drivel all day. And most of the stories are just celebrity stories, which is much nicer than some of the stuff that's on the news. But I don't know why. There was this thing, it was an article about actors that didn't like superhero movies, which included some actors that had been in superhero movies. And one of the actors said, the reason I don't really like superhero movies is because it's it's not really, doesn't really represent the world that we live in. It's not supposed to. It's literally, it's a movie. It's not supposed to be real. It's supposed to be fun. I mean, not every aspect of the superhero movies are fun, because they do kind of encroach upon some quite weird subjects, but it's fantasy, isn't it? It's fantasy. Why has he got... I've never once watched a superhero movie and at the end of it thought to myself, well, that's 2 hours of my life gone, and I've not learnt one damn thing. I've never felt like there was nothing spiritual. I didn't learn anything philosophical. I'm never going to get that time back. All I had was pleasure and entertainment, a few laughs, and a good time with whoever you went with. That's all. But ultimately, where was the learning moment? Where was the... How did it change my life? Where was the transformation? No, it's a superhero movie. It's just supposed to be fun. Why don't you tell the makers of the 3 episodes of Batman, or why don't you tell that trilogy? Why don't you tell them that it's supposed to be fun? I never got that. So, Batman, the TV show, was funny. It still is funny, actually. I think it's a funny show. It's ridiculous. I mean, I still remember I watched the movie, like the original 1960s Batman and Robin, and they had a feature length. I don't know if it was in the cinemas or just on telly, but I think there is a helicopter, the Batcopter or something, and of course it's riding itself, so they're both on a ladder. I think Batman might have saved Robin from the sea or something, and then a shark grabs hold of I think it's one of those drop down rope, whatever you want to call them, ladders, rope ladder, and a shark grabs hold of it, therefore pulling the helicopter towards the sea. And Batman looks down at his leg and says, "Oh, good, the shark repellent." He just happens to have shark repellent on him. Oh, I mean, even at the age of 7, I found that funny. I thought it was absurd. It's like, 6 or 7 years old, and I thought, yeah, that is just ridiculous. But I loved it for that reason. And then they brought the movies out. The first one, Batman, with Keaton and Jack Nicholson. A great movie, great visuals. It was funny and it was serious. It was like a mixture of everything. Jack Nicholson was great. It's a really good movie. Very popular as well. I think Jack Nicholson won an Oscar for playing Joker, I do believe. Then the second one, I kind of get a little bit confused how many there was. I mean, there was Batman and Robin, and there was Batman and Robin, and there wasn't the Iceman Cometh or something. So there was one which they just had all these big stars in them. So one had Arnold Schwarzenegger, one had, but I don't know which ones were which, but there was Arnold, there was Uma Thurman, there was Jim Carrey, there was what's his name, who was also a huge star at the time. There was Danny DeVito as a penguin. I don't know, how many did they do? How many Batman movies? All Batman movies. All Batman movies. So let's have a look. So, what? Oh, there's a new one coming. Michael Keaton. Really? Batman Beyond, the movie, coming soon. That looks weird because it's also got Richard Gere, Meryl Streep. It doesn't look like it's a real image. I mean, it looks like it's got an image of the new Batman. It's also got a picture of him, also a picture of Michael Keaton. And it's a different costume. So I'm not sure. So Batman. First in the series of the Batman movies. Oh, there was 4. That does make sense. So you got Batman, then you got Batman Returns. So Batman had the Joker. Batman Returns has Catwoman and the Penguin. So Michelle Pfeiffer and Danny DeVito. Not Danny DeVito. It would make a good penguin, though, wouldn't he? Wouldn't need any makeup either. What did I... It is Danny DeVito. I apologise to Danny DeVito. It actually is Danny DeVito as a penguin. Why did I think it was... What's his name? That's really strange. I thought the penguin was... Not... Who was in Kramer versus Kramer, that movie? I thought that was that was who played the penguin. But it was Danny DeVito. I love Danny DeVito, by the way. He's a very gentle lover. So, the next one is Batman Forever. That was... And we had... So we had the... Right, that's... Michael Keaton was in the first 2. Then Val Kilmer was the next one. And then George Clooney was in the last one of those 4. Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face. Jim Carrey as the Riddler. And then you had Nicole Kidman and Chris O'Donnell. So Chris O'Donnell was Robin, wasn't he? Batman Forever. Nicole Kidman, I don't know who she played. See, here's my thing, right? Okay, Batman and Robin was the next one. So where did the Iceman cometh? Where did I get that from? Or was that just one of the posters that was around at the time? Because Arnold Schwarzenegger played the Iceman. This is in Batman and Robin. Chris O'Connell played Robin. George Clooney played Batman. Uma Thurman played... What did she play? What did Uma Thurman do? was she like a witch, or she had something she could do, didn't she? The thing is, in all the other movies after that, the Batman, none of the Batmans had powers. None of the enemies had any powers. But the Iceman, he had like powers, didn't he? Being able to turn things into ice. Uma Thurman, poison ivory. Ivory. I don't think because I'm looking at the computer screen that I'm looking this up, because I am. No, I'm not. It's the memories are coming to me just by looking at her. Poison Ivory. And also Alice Silverstone. But I don't know who she played. So that was the final in that series. And then in 2005, I do believe, because I did go and see this first one on a date with someone. Batman Begins. Okay, so Batman Begins, and that's the one with, what's his name? Mr. Serious. The serious one. Batman Begins. Christian Bale. And just looking who else is in there, I don't know, to be honest with you. Okay, the second one had the Joker. The first one, I don't know. I really don't know who was. Liam Neeson was in the. Okay, so the Batman, Liam Neeson was kind of the arch enemy because he's the one that trained the Batman. I don't think I've ever seen The Dark Knight, the second one, all the way through, or The Dark Knight Rises all the way through. I've just seen clips. Perhaps I'll try and watch all three together. So the third one, The Dark Knight Rises, that's got what's his name, isn't it? Kane. Is it Kane? Who's in that one? All Batman movies in order. Okay, this will be a better one. So Batman Begins. No, that's not in order, is it? How can that be in order? What about the original four? Bless them. So if we start with the Christian Bale ones, or yeah. So you've got Batman Begins, The Dark Knight Rises. Then you've got Batman versus Superman. That's when Ben Affleck takes over as Batman. There's Suicide Squad, which is... Batman's not even in that. But the Joker's in it, isn't he? So, yeah. I don't know why they're doing that. And then you've got Justice League with Ben Affleck as Superman again. And then the Lego Batman movie. Okay, fair enough. Can't argue with that one. I liked the Justice League. And I liked Batman vs Superman. But not everybody did. And Justice League had some funny bits. It got quite a bit of humour, which is unusual for DC movies. The superhero movies quite often, in my opinion, aren't particularly funny. Yet the Marvel ones have, for me, a better balance. Although they've kind of gone in a different direction at times. a little bit too far, like silly. But even then I can go along with it because it's just a superhero movie. It's a bit of entertainment. You know, I'm not watching it in order to grow taller. You know, I'm not watching it. I don't want to watch all 3 of the Batman movies and then measure myself and like, oh no, I'm still the same height. That's wasted my time. It was, you know, I'm not watching them for any kind of big reason. That's what I'm saying. Why would you watch a movie? He's talking about watching movies so he can grow taller. That makes no sense. I know. Joker. I like Joker. Very similar to Taxi Driver in some ways. Just some of the like a comedian gets on telly. It's just, I don't know, it's very kind of similar in that way. And they knew that because they copied some bits. Because Robert De Niro was in both of those. And then you got the Batman. I like that as well. It was good, but zero humour. They're missing out the Joker Part 2, which I couldn't watch. I didn't get why they tried to make a musical. I mean, it's very creative, but I didn't, I mean, I think musicals work. It takes a lot for a musical to really be successful, I think, in the movie format. And quite often it'll be years of it being at a theatre, and it gets tested. It's like The Wizard of Oz or Wicked. Wicked was in theatres for the last 30, 40 years. Not theatres, concerts. People were going to West End and to watch these shows of Wicked. So the songs were tested. The whole premise, every aspect of those movies was tried and tested thousands and thousands and thousands of times before they turned it into a movie. So they couldn't really fail. The same with Grease. Grease was a huge hit long before it became a movie. So they'd already tested it on thousands, maybe millions, maybe not millions, but a lot of people had watched Grease, the musical, you know, on Broadway and maybe in the West End and the whatever version there is of your country where people go to shows, theatre, ballet, whatever. It's, you know, so Cats is another one, or so many movies that they've been tested. But I don't think Joker Part 2 or Dukes had that, just didn't have that quality of being tested. And if it had done, it might have been a huge hit, because then they could have retuned it to the audience so that it fitted in and it got the proper laughs and the songs were kind of perfect. Like Grease, for me, Grease the musical was perfect. The Wizard of Oz, perfect. Wicked, I'm going to say perfect because I've not seen all of it, to be honest, but there's just certain aspects. Some of the movies, just like, you know every song. Or Phantom of the Opera. Phantom of the Opera being on this, you know, when they made that into a movie. I'm just trying to think, did they turn that into a movie? But it was such a big hit on Broadway. I suppose Cats is another one I mentioned. But loads that have been really big, and then they turn into a movie, and it's almost guaranteed to be successful because they know that the audience are going to enjoy it because it's been tried and tested. They didn't do that with Joker Part 2. They didn't, and maybe that's why it didn't work. I mean, that really, they could have done so much with that movie based on the first one. It could have been a really, really good film. Like really, really, if they'd have, it could have turned into like one big, really big ride of fun and explosions and silliness, but at the same time, because it was kind of anarchy, wasn't it, at the end of the first one? And he had all people like dressed up like him. So how are the police even going to know who he is or where he is? So, yeah, he kind of became the anti-hero. But, you know, when I was watching that movie, as we came to the end, you know, at the end of the movie, and that preceding time, maybe, you know, the last probably 5 hours between the movie ending and, you know, those 5 hours afterwards, at no point did I think, I hope they do another one, a part 2, and they have songs and they turn it into a musical. That's what this is what it needs. It's a good movie, but it would have been great, much better if they if they sang all their dialogue. Please. I genuinely didn't think that. Maybe I'm just being shallow. Maybe I'm just being shallow. Shallow. Maybe, it's possible. I like to think I'm not really shallow. Not really. Just seeing if I had any emails. How did I get talking about Batman? Anyone? I have no idea. I'll tell you what I am looking forward to seeing is what's his name? Okay. Right. So let's have a look. I can find it by just going through. Ooh, no. Right. The Dark Knight. Batman Begins. The Dark Knight trilogy. It's Cillian Murphy, isn't it? Cillian Murphy. He's 49. So he played the Scarecrow in the is it the second? No, he played it in the Dark Knight trilogy. I've just seen something, I can't believe it. Can you believe that Inception was 16 years ago? Inception. Do you remember when there was like the most advanced technological special effects ever done, ever? And it was 16 years ago. Wow. I think Cillian, whatever his name is, Murphy, he's done quite well considering how he looks, hasn't he? I mean, with a face like that, I'm amazing that he made it big, but he did. Oh God, he's beautiful. He's absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so I was trying to do some irony there. What? Where's all his what? Where's his movies? I didn't even know he's Irish. I don't think I'd ever seen him with. I mean, maybe he has had roles where he had an Irish accent, but I've not seen any, I don't think. And also, I think really, to me, he was, what's his name? Selby, Tommy Selby, Thomas Selby, in the Peaky Blinders, and that started years ago, didn't it? Peaky Blinders, I mean, it finished years ago as well. So the Peaky Blinders, where is it? 2013 to 2022. So it finished 4 years ago. 4 years. And the new movie is coming out. In fact, it's already out in cinemas, and it's being released on Netflix on the 20th. So in 8 days, we'll be able to watch the Peaky Blinders new movie. I had a little thought. I thought, should I just watch every episode of Peaky Blinders over the next 8 days in preparation of the movie? And I thought, no. It'd be good to see the movie, though, when it comes out. I mean, as far as I'm aware, it takes place... Because the first movie takes place after the first WW, and the second one takes place after the second, in my understanding. So he's gone away, and then he comes back to Birmingham, and I really thought he was from Birmingham. So I didn't realise he was putting on an accent. And this is weird. Why is it saying that I've 104 minutes? So 100 hour and 30, 140. I've been talking for a while, haven't I? Do you ever wonder why I managed to talk, or how I managed to talk so long? Do you ever think about that? I do sometimes. Sometimes I think, how? Honestly, how? All right, Vinny. Don't look at me like that. Stop judging me. Honestly, I've never seen a more judgmental doggy in my life. Always judging me. So that's enough about Cillian. So I know his name is, I think it's Cillian Murphy, but I like Cillian Murphy. I don't know why. He looks like a Cillian Murphy. And I think the reason for that is because I always thought his name was Cillian Murphy. So for 15 years or whatever, I've been watching him on TV and in movies. I thought his name was Cillian. But I think his name's actually Cillian. But he doesn't look like a Cillian to me. He looks like a Cillian. And I find it very difficult to change names for people once I've got a name for them. Like, I got a friend, Boston Chickie. That's not a real name. Her name's Andy. But I have to call her Boston Chickie because that's what I know her by. That's how I've known her for many, many years. There's a neighbour that I see walking the dog, and she's on TikTok, and her name is Beach Babe. Now that's not her real name, but I have to call her Beach Babe now because that's what I know her by. Which is probably a bit weird when we're in the park and there's other dog walkers about, you know. Right, Steve. Right, Stuart. Hi, Beach Babe. Yeah. I'm not sure if her husband would like it either. Maybe I shouldn't call her Beach Babe anymore. But it's because that's just a name that I know her by. You know what I mean? It's like some people know me as Juicy JJ. It's... You know what I mean? Some people call me JJ. Some people do. Some people call me Juicy. Because no matter how old I get, I'll still be juicy. Yes. Right. Let's have a look. Oh, let's have a look at this. So, oh, come on. So Jake Paul mocked on social media over awkward stains on stage. So he took to the platform at some rally in Hebron, Kentucky, aiming, is it Kentucky? Kentucky? Is that the right way to say it? Kentucky. Aiming to deliver a stirring address about courage, politics and loyalty. However, the YouTuber turned pugilist, why don't they say boxer? I mean, how many people, I'm not saying that people don't know what pugilist means, but does everyone know what pugilist means? But anyway, he's a boxer. So, YouTuber turned boxer inadvertently created one of the evening's most memorable moments for attendees. What I think's happened is whoever did this article basically just copied the article and reworded it. So whoever wrote it first put in boxer and they just changed it to pugilist. And instead of inadvertently, which they did here, probably originally it said accidentally. And it probably was accidentally caused one of the evening's most memorable moments. Created instead of caused. Once of the evening's most, like say, it was originally the event's most memorable, so the evening's. You know, so it's, I reckon that's what's happened. Anyway, we're getting down to semantics. Semantics. Satanic, semantics. Semantics. Not semantics. Catantics. Scatentics. Satantics. Spatantics. I know what the word means. Sharp-eyed spectators were swift to notice the conspicuous perspiration marks on Paul's beige suit, which has seeped through the underarm area of his blazer. The darker stains created obvious circular patches that can occur readily beneath intense lighting. Okay, so basically, man gets on stage in front of loads of really hot lamps and sweats. Man is human. That's basically, isn't it? Jake Paul is human. He sweats. I mean, he's got a suit on with a tie, he's got a beard. And as someone that sometimes has a beard, you know, beards don't cool you down. They might cool down people that are standing underneath it if they're taking shade from the sun. But depends how big the beard is. Huh. Anyway, leave him alone. Jake Paul's cool. Plus, he's really good for female boxers. Female boxing, and he is the biggest champion, or has been the biggest champion for female boxers in forever, really. He's not the only champion, but he has been the biggest. Like, you know, I would say, although Eddie Hearn's done a lot, all the big promoters have done a lot for women's boxing, but I'd say Jake Paul's done the most. They're having like all female bills and stuff. What's this? Tommy Fleetwood stunned by Tiger Woods banned from competing. Tiger Woods is looking a bit different these days. Did you see all that stuff about what's his name? Oh, well, alrighty then. Not Elton John. Ah. Oh. The Louis Angus. Oh, look at this. I'm just looking through it, sorry. Ross Kemp, 61, stays in shape with his cardio-focused 5-workout week. Now, those who don't know who he is, Ross Kemp is Grant from EastEnders. That's what I would argue, is most famous for, but he has done other TV shows as well. But he, you know, he's Grant from EastEnders. And he's looking good, 61. It's weird. I tell you, it's strange here, right? Okay. So they've got him standing in a garden with a top on, but it's like I don't know, you know, those like gym, like a vest really, so that you can show off your shoulders and your arms and stuff. So he's got one of them on, and he's holding his hands together in front of him. I don't know if he's praying, or maybe he's just caught a butterfly. I don't know what it is. And next to it, there's a picture with Walford East Station, which has, you know, that's where EastEnders kind of based, and it's got him standing there in a leather jacket. The thing is, he looks exactly the same age in the second picture, and he hasn't been in EastEnders for years. He makes the occasional appearance he did last year. But that picture of him, I would say, is probably from a long time ago, and they just stuck his head on. In fact, I don't know if that's even his body. I need proof, Mr. Kemp. Please send me pictures. Why am I saying stuff like that? I don't want pictures of him. So it's Jason Newland. Send me pictures at hotmail.com. No. No. He always was. I liked Grant Mitchell, especially when they were both in it together, because it was very, very much, it was quite funny dialogue. Because even though Grant was the toughest out of the two, Phil Mitchell, his brother, was like the hilarious, really, in some ways. And they'd go from constantly trying to stop each other from like getting into trouble. Yeah. So, just a text from a neighbour asking me for toilet rolls. Should I say no? Do you think that'd be funny, or is that wrong? I don't know. I think it's funny. Perhaps I should say, yeah, perhaps I shouldn't. I should say yes. Do you want to go and see Mummy? Right. So I want to say thank you for listening. It's been a pleasure not having to look in a camera. And remember to be kind to yourself, because you do deserve to be happy. And be gentle with yourself. You deserve to feel safe. And also, if you're still awake, just a reminder that tomorrow is Q&A Friday. And as yet, I do not have any questions. So please send me a question that I can answer tomorrow on Q&A Friday. Take care. Lots of love. Bye.